I'm done, and I'm gonna try to do this a little bit differently for once. So I'm gonna go back to my original post, and I'm going to delete it. I'm gonna have this video clip as the intro for one big video that shows this whole debacle. But for everybody that doesn't feel the need to watch all my shenanigans, end results right here. It's fixed, it's working, new motherboard's in. But the fun part, the rest of the video, is showing what I had to do. This motherboard came in with bent pins, and it was a damaged return. I took a razor blade and bent the pins back straight and got it to boot, and everything's working now. But this was a whole debacle. Running 5.6 on the P cores or performance cores, 4.5 on the efficiency cores. Our temperatures are great. I will torture test it more. But yeah, there's your intro slash too long didn't watch. I fixed the thing. What a pain. So I just shut this thing down. I'm getting ready to swap the motherboard. So, new egg box comes in. Old motherboard's over there. New box comes in. New motherboard. Well, this thing, let me turn on my light. This thing is hanging loose in the box. I'm like, fuck, that's not good. That protects the socket. So, I lift this up, take that front lever up. And as soon as I do, I can see there's smudge marks right here. And the only way that I see that probably happening is somebody else doing what I'm about to do or was about to do. Taking off this retention bracket to put a whole different retention mechanism, a little plate that goes on here. So it makes me think somebody's already got this and returned it. My first one definitely looks like it was a returned unit, and then they just sent it back out for whatever reason. Maybe it'll work for the next person. I guess it's like Mediacom and giving you a fucking modem or something. I don't know. So as I'm looking at this, right there by that smudge, there's two bent pins. Let me see if I can get zoomed in here. It's going to be hard to see on the camera, but I can damn sure see it with my eyeball. Right here, if I go around at an angle, you can kind of see there. So as I go further over, there, you can kind of see at that angle. I'm going to try to hold the phone and point. Right there at the tip of my finger. There's two pins that are bent plain as day in this socket, right next to where somebody's damn grubby ass fingers already been on it. So I can't just send it in and say it's defective because it has a smudge fingerprint and those two pins look slightly bent. I'm gonna have to pull my motherboard and stick my parts in here and at least try to test boot. I don't have an easy way to I can't pull my power supply and everything else loose in a simple way to do that. I have to install the CPU, retention bracket, and do the whole fucking 9 yards just to test it. And then at that point, do I go ahead and install the M.2s like this? I hate the feeling that I have reordered this motherboard twice now, and that I'm getting returned units that have already been fucked with. Newegg, your days are numbered, bud. It's been a long time since I've shopped with them, and now this is twice in a row. If I just got 2 returned units in a row, I'll never shop with Newegg again, and they're the first company I ever shopped with. I still have my receipt where I bought my first motherboard from these bastards. I'll quit shopping with them. This is too much. Rebuilding my system is not an easy task. And this is bullshit. Look what LB done did to you. B, what's wrong with him? Say, you bad? Are you bad? Give me a spin. Are you bad? Spin around. Yeah. Give him a spin around. Are you bad? B. He's bad. He bad. He bad, B. He bad. Rowdy. You bad. Get him, B. Oh, you bad. I gotta rebuild this damn computer and cross my freaking fingers. Maybe do some kind of a freaking ritual or something. I don't know. I've got my headlamp on my forehead, and I was sitting here looking at this where that 2 pins are bent. Not going to be able to show it on camera, but I'm going to use this razor blade because it's the thinnest one I could find, and I've had to do this before. Just the thickness of this blade is about how much the thing is off there. And my hand, it doesn't show too well on camera, but it's way more stable than it used to be a couple of years ago. So I'm fairly confident that since I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go ahead and give it my best shot. So I'm gonna bend the pin that's bent the worst back. It's like, if you're looking at them on the grid here, let me get where I'm half-ass focused. One of them is slightly bent off, like just a little bit to the side. The one to the right of it is really bent off to the side. So I'm gonna slightly bend the one back over. The second one that needs to go back over, I'm just gonna wedge that blade in there. I've had to do it before, like I said. If I can get that one pin, the worst one, back right, I would feel more comfortable about going ahead and putting this back together for my test. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here trying to calm my nerves and control my breathing, because this is like that Operation game times like 1,000. The fact that there is 1,700 pins just right here is insanity. And actually getting down to bend them, it's right here at the socket, and I just can't quite get a focus. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I had to take a pit stop and get a little breather just to calm my nerves. The first pin, I have the tip of its contact back where it should be. It's really hard to see right there. But the other pin that's bent off, yeah, it's hard to even see on the camera here. If I go at an off angle, you can see it though. The second pin is bent back like damn near identically to where it should be. And that first pin is just slightly off now. I bent it a little bit. So, let me go ahead and zoom this back out. Just the edge of this razor, if I get it on the end of those pins, just lightly touching it and just focusing right in on it, I can barely just nick them and kind of pluck at them. And I watched it move that pin back over into the right position. I didn't go too far, it was just enough. So I want to make sure my hands are nice and steady so that I can bend that last pin over. And then I feel really, really confident to throw this back together, because what I think happened, and I know I'm always assuming stuff, but more like doing a hardware forensics kind of thing, because I deal with a lot of this shit, so I kind of see this happening. This cover right here, the writing is upside down, and it's supposed to be like that. They're all like this. But to a new builder, if they popped in their processor after whatever happened that bent those pins, that cover pops off automatically. and people don't pay attention that the writing's upside down. Whenever this wasn't working for them or whatever happened, they took their CPU back out. They didn't put this back on correctly. It's not just going to knock off in shipping. This thing's on tight. They don't put it back on correctly because they try to put it on with the writing right side up. So I really think that whoever screwed this up bent a little pin right there. Even if they didn't test it, they freaked out because of the incident that caused the bent pin. That's why there's smudge marks on it and whatnot. And then they just threw it back together. So I honestly think, doing my due diligence and getting these pins straight, that I have a high chance of it just coming on and working. But this was definitely a return. I'm not ordering anything that comes from or is affiliated to Newegg ever again. Done with them. Just twice in a row getting a returned high-end tech product. No, it's unacceptable. I'm done with them. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do the swap. I can literally barely see a slight bit that the pin's off. Of course, it's not gonna show on video. The actual tip where it contacts to the CPU pad there coming up, all of those pins are in equal amounts rowed across one way and the other way, so our line grid array is straight. I'm fairly confident. The pin didn't break, they're straight. It should work. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. One more quick note. See that cover? I went ahead and reinstalled it. Even though I'm not using this, if this works out, I won't be using this at all. But I put that cover back on and reinstalled this because it's protecting the socket. If this doesn't work, I'll have to put this back in, and I'll just make this my first returned board, which gives me enough time to have another one come in to replace on this, whatever. You want to protect the socket. So it's 4 screws. Protect the damn socket. Hopefully this one's fine, but you know, even it's just good practice. That's the way to do things. Might as well add this to my video too. So right here on these corners, there's this little sticky film, and if I go ahead, let's just go 2x zoom. Every time I remove this, I have to break out my tweezers and work my way around here and remove these. They go on the back side of this. So this is my little retention for the CPU cooler. And it does make it so much easier to have this thing stuck on properly that it's actually worth it to take the time and peel these little bastards off. But it's like, how many times do you peel off a sticker before you finally mess it up, kind of thing? Like, aggravating. Yeah, doing that too. We got all the sticky circles off of here and installed onto this thing right here. If I can light it up. Let me set this back down. Yeah. So we got that. Now all we have to do is flip this board. Wah. Not stuck to my fingers. Now that we got all the little sticky things on the corners here, this I'll just line up here. I'll push it on firmly. That will keep this thing in place for us to install the cooler once we get it in the case. So we'll just leave that there. Do some pressure pushing, make it nice and adhered, and trying to think, like even booting this thing, I really just need to go ahead and swap the freaking drives and just do everything. I'll be back. Okay, pause. We have a cool thing. I was taking off the cover because I'm committing to go ahead and just swapping all the drives and just giving it the old college try. Look at this label. That's when I was born. So my motherboard has a since 1986 label on it, and that's above the PCI Express slot that I'm using. So in the top of my case underneath the CPU, you should be able to see that to like a keen-eyed person when I get done with it and whatnot. That's cool. Since 1986, just like me. Motherboard is completely dressed out, and we made sure the LED switch is on. It is in the on position. So I got motherboard. Next step, flipping on the power switch. I'm going to attempt booting this now. If it comes on, I'm just going to go straight to the BIOS, and then I'm going to flip the switch right back off because I'll need to update the BIOS. I need to get an extension cord to run up to this battery backup I got up in the closet right here, because while I'm updating the BIOS, if there's a random power surge, it'll corrupt the BIOS and this will be a paperweight. So I want to do my due diligence, go get an extension cord so that this computer can be plugged into the battery backup, because it doesn't use that much juice while it's updating the BIOS. But if it loses juice, it's ruined and has to go back. So let's hit the power button, see if we can get in. There's lights on the motherboard. That's already good. Please tell me I bent that pin back straight and that it'll just read. Give me a splash. Can I get a splash? Come on. 0D is the error on the thing. No, 31, 34. Come on. You know you want to do it. There's usually a white light will show up right there next to the RAM when it finally trains memory. So it might be training. Hang on. White light, yes. Come on. I'm hitting delete to get into the BIOS. Yes! Setup. Come on, baby. This is still memory training and all, so this is technically normal. Although it looks scary. Really scary. Come on, baby. Hopefully the person that returned this thing just freaked out and it just needed that pin bent back. Come on. 0. I think I'm getting BIOS. Yes. Okay, and the beauty behind all of this, not only do I have the newest BIOS on this flash right here that I can load profile from, like if I go yeah, this is an older version of the BIOS, so I'll be updating that. I'm not gonna do it until I plug up battery back up, but I think I fixed it. Happy guy. Yeah. Woo woo. Woo. We win. I think. Let's update this BIOS. Gotta get an extension cord. I got the extension cord and it's run up to the battery backup in the closet in there. So I don't have to worry about this losing power during BIOS updating. So we'll go advanced, and then we've got Oh, on my last video, I sidetracked myself, squirrel, and I forgot to mention what I was talking about. I was saying the beauty behind the flash that was right here. Unplugged it and plugged it in the back of my computer now. Beauty behind that flash, it not only has the newest version of my BIOS that I'm about to go into M-Flash to flash, it also has my overclocking profiles. So you can actually load OC profile from a USB drive. So here, it's got all of my overclocks, and it shows you a little preview of your settings up top. So that's cool. Those are for a different version of the BIOS though. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna enter flash mode. Normally, I am scared when I'm working on a tower because random power outage ruins the thing, and especially if I'm working on somebody else's crap, it's just nerve-wracking. Moving forward, I'm gonna have me an extra cord that I get that just stays dedicated just for that, coming out of the closet. Maybe I get another one of these battery backups. I had a buddy that had a couple on the Facebook Marketplace, and I completely ditched out and forgot to go get them, or even send them a message or anything. So I need to jump on battery backups just for stupid stuff like this, like flashing a computer and whatnot. Let's see, it sees my drive as the first drive because there's a dedicated port on the back of the motherboard. I know people that mess with computers and stuff, you might see it. There's one that says BIOS or BIOS flash. The reason why it's there, it'll be the first entry that it reads. See, it's reading it before my Samsung drives, before my Western Digital, anything. So it shows up as the first drive, and it already sees the contents of that main directory is the newest BIOS for the motherboard. So I want to load this file, and now I'll update. Usually this part scares me. I don't have to be scared because we have power. It's just got an orange cord coming out of it. Yeah, we'll get that hooked up to where that's like part of our normal setup. Like that's another thing. I'm slowly trying to not only make my home life and like work office type room setup better for day-to-day life, but I'm trying to make stuff easier for work and optimize stuff for work. That's my whole thing. You call me, I fix stuff. That's my bread and butter. That's what I do. Yeah. So anything that will make that better is part of my list of things to do. What's up, B? What's up, boy? I know. I'm so sad. I ain't been playing with you. I will, I swear. I just loaded my custom settings, so 56 all core, and 2 cores can randomly boost to 6 gigahertz. Let's just give this a run. These are all my settings from its brother, sister, whatever, that the lights didn't work. So technically, this should boot my system. I'm running the newest version of the BIOS. I just dialed in my settings. It should just boot into Windows. I should be done. I mean, once I get in there, of course, I'll program the dragon to be red, but like all the drives are plugged back in the same order. Everything is, for all intent and purposes, put back. It might take a second to, like you see the lights still not white next to my RAM right there. That's like that amber yellow light. It's because it's training on my settings. It hasn't booted with my settings yet. So it's just doing its little preliminary thing to make sure that it likes the timings and the voltages and everything for the RAM and all that. So this should, please, just work and me not have to do anything else. That would be so nice. Give me a white light next to that RAM and then turn on. There's a white light. We like that. Screen's kind of thinking about doing something. Come on. Oh. That's an unhappy light that just happened. Maybe it was just still training again. I didn't like the unhappy light, but it's still doing its thing. Uh-huh. Yeah, we got a white light right there right before it started the boot up. That's usually the end of the boot sequence. The numbers, there ain't no damn way I'm going to remember all of those post codes. There's just too many that roll by so fast. Come on, baby. We hop in Windows, and once it has been trained on my settings, it'll restart faster and everything too, so that'll be cool. Of course it wants me to reset my PIN because it thinks I have new hardware. I'm gonna have to activate Windows all over again, which is fine. A little thing's gonna pop up here, yeah, telling me to log into. Yep, it's going to send a notification to my phone. Let me finish this real quick. I think I'm happy. What a pain in the butt. Everything's installed. Software is set up. Oh, we got our dragon. All of that because the dragon didn't light up. Oh. We're just running our 5.6 for now and 4.5 on the E cores. You can see our maximum temperatures aren't really getting up there. I used new good Chironaut, dang, words are hard, Chironaut paste. I was gonna try the new Conductonaut, but the money wasn't worth it for me for what I'm doing, so maybe later. We're up and running. We fixed the thing. What a freaking nightmare of having to rebend the damn pin back straight for that processor, but we're good. I think we're done. I'm gonna clean up and try to relax the rest of the evening. Yay!